All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
I am Iron Man.
That's a big one.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
You are a bully!
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Why so serious?
The city is flying. We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
And welcome to World War G, episode 246. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ. About an hour ago, we got a tiebreaker that beat this three-way tie on our World War G 2 page.
Mm-hmm.
We posed this question as far as Fox families go. Who was basically king?
No pun intended.
There was The Simpsons, King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers, American Dad, The Cleveland Show, and Family Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Out of these, which ones do you think you've probably seen the most?
Simpsons and Family Guy.
Okay. For myself, it was probably actually Family Guy and American Dad. Maybe Bob's Burgers. I'm all caught up with Bob's Burgers now as well.
Yeah, I've seen season after season after season of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And Family Guy. I've pretty much been watching Family Guy since the beginning, since season 1. Not so much The Simpsons because I was a very, very, very little kid when that started.
And at least in my parents' household and growing up, they're very religiously conservative. So some of these,
Same here.
So some of these shows were forbidden.
Yeah.
So I always felt so rebellious, going and watching them when they weren't
Yeah, no, we weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons growing up.
But you go back and look at it, and it's these are so dang tame to some of the shows they've got now.
Yeah.
It's not even a comparison.
A lot of the controversy from The Simpsons, I remember back in the day, came from Bart.
Yeah.
Because he was a 10-year-old kid, and he was
rude.
He would
rude.
Talk
back.
Yeah, he was kind of foul-mouthed. He'd tell his dad to go to hell and stuff like that, and that was oh boy,
yeah,
watch out.
That, and also Homer was pretty dang abusive.
Yeah. Now it's funny. Now watching Homer choke Bart, classic Homer.
Yeah. How come? Okay, so Cleveland Show and King of the Hill didn't get any love, and Family Guy didn't get any love whatsoever, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised about Family Guy.
Same, not so much. Cleveland Show. If you look over the voting, definitely missed our demographic.
Yeah, we're not quite the demographic for that show. King of the Hill, I think, because it ended a few years back, so it's been off the air for a while.
Right. But it's not one of those ones that people will go back and watch again.
Yeah, I don't think so. And like I was telling you, I'm not a big Mike Judge fan.
Right.
With Beavis and Butthead, I hate Beavis and Butthead. I always have.
I didn't like him much either.
I did like his movie Office Space. I thought that was pretty funny. But other than that, I'm just,
This, to me, is kind of like the Seinfeld of cartoons, or some of those shows where it's got a wholesome family that are going through struggles and issues and stuff, but it's just kind of like a show about nothing. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
The plot, they go to work, they do their stuff, and they kind of have a couple, I don't know, it's pretty bland.
It is.
Much like a, what is it? Oh, I was going to make a perfect reference. A burger grilled on propane,
Nice. Yeah, they're an animated family, but animated stuff never really happened to them.
Right.
You know?
stuff that couldn't happen in the real. It was pretty grounded.
Yeah. So like, oh, well, why is this entertaining? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just my sense of humor, but I've just never found Mike Judge funny, his stuff. But
I think I would have voted Bob's Burgers, but this last season that I've been watching is one of the worst seasons. They're running out of ideas.
Really?
The show, I really feel like this show has got maybe one more season in it.
yeah, I've seen a few episodes of Bob's Burgers, and again, I'm like, well,
It was okay in
It's
the
okay.
beginning, and then it got better. Like once you from season 2 and 3 on, it got really good, and then this last season it's just kind of tapered off again.
But yeah, I'm surprised that Family Guy didn't get any votes. I wonder if maybe they're kind of suffering from the same thing that The Simpsons is, where people are just kind of getting tired of it.
Kind of burnt out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Because I don't really hear much about Family Guy.
Right. You used to see
Ever.
like teaser trailers for it,
Yeah.
on television.
Or I'd hear people talk about it, or, people would, do like impressions and stuff. And I don't hear any of that anymore. So maybe Family Guy's just kind of lost its luster, kind of like Simpsons has. But I think Simpsons, they got a couple of votes. One was myself. I think that was because of just the history of it.
Right.
And the nostalgia of it and that sort of thing. I know that's why I voted for it. And, yeah. And because that's the show I've seen the most of. But, yeah. Okay. Let's move on here. Get to our stories. So, if you're watching The Watchmen, who watches The Watchmen?
We watch The Watchmen.
We do. Apparently, it's doing okay on HBO. It doesn't have huge numbers, but it's doing okay. Apparently, Batman is in the Watchmen universe, kind of.
Yeah.
So The Watchmen has always kind of been a satirical look at superheroes and the superhero culture and how you shouldn't idolize these people.
These people are flawed.
Yes.
Which is much like us.
Yes.
They were just, given these abilities, or some not even given abilities,
Yeah.
but taken crime fighting and vigilantism, I guess, into their own hands.
Yeah. And so basically Dr. Manhattan is kind of the Watchmen's versions of Superman, and then you have Batman, and in this universe he is a black guy, and he's part of a blaxploitation movie. That's where he comes from. So Batman exists in the Watchmen universe, but their version is black. Superman already exists, but Batman's status was confirmed by HBO's PDpedia tie-in website. So, like Sister Night, and are you caught up on Watchmen? Okay. So, like Sister Night, Batman is a blaxploitation character mocking the Minutemen. Everyone in Watchmen's world was unaware that Hooded Justice was really Will Reeves, a black man. So Batman was created in the 1970s as black culture's parody of Night Owl. Which is ironic because in the comic book, Night Owl was kind of Alan Moore's parody of Batman.
Right.
So it's kind of goes full circle there. So like I said, Batman does exist in the HBO Watchmen universe. Kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope this doesn't, if they do play it up with him quite a bit, I hope it doesn't go the same route as like Luke Cage and some of these other ones, where it was primarily had a lot to do with like racial issues, right? But I think that would be really interesting to have, especially if he's still this version of Batman doesn't want to kill anybody. Or doesn't, has that line in the sand that he won't cross, and then like him with some of these other vigilantes that will cross that line, like no problems, no questions asked, like on the drop of a hat,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he even does come up because, like I said, it's a character in a movie or a series of films, however many it is in that universe. So it'll be interesting to see if they mention it at all or that sort of thing.
Actually bring it, yeah.
Yeah, actually bring it up. And Superman does exist because in one of the episodes, you see that there's somebody reading Action Comics #1.
Right.
And so, yeah, Superman does exist as a comic book character, just as he does in our world, the real world.
So now, I mean, we could pose this to our listeners as well, but if we had to pit Dr. Manhattan versus Superman, where are you going with this?
Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Because Dr. Manhattan has the ability to rearrange and change matter.
Right.
Which is something Superman can't do. So Dr. Manhattan could literally destroy him on a molecular level.
Do you think, because of his skin, and if they were fighting on Earth, he wouldn't stand a much better chance, like, of it not affecting him? Or he'd still be able to rip them apart? Because he does bleed, right?
He does. If it came down to just fight, I don't know. I don't know that much about Dr. Manhattan because they didn't explore that much. Yeah. They explored more of what his other abilities were. Not so much his strength, but he's shown to be a very powerful being. So I'm guessing he could stand toe to toe with Superman.
Well, we have done, I know that we've done a list in the past as far as, the strongest superheroes. Yeah. And I believe that he was up near the top.
He was. He was. Yeah, but like I said, in the comics, that was never addressed too much from what I remember. It was always just about his other abilities that he could do about, creating things and rearranging matter
and being in multiple places at once.
Yeah.
Spreading his conscience throughout all over.
Mm-hmm.
A really good multitasker.
Yes. Yeah. Indeed.
So have you seen the movie Starship Troopers?
I don't think I have actually.
It came out back in 1997.
It was a big deal when it came out, I remember. It was, it kind of gained instant cult status. I remember a lot of the kids in school were talking about it.
Yeah.
But no, I never did. I never did see it.
It's about a bunch of grunt super soldiers that go off into space, similar to Alien or some of these other movies. Actually, the closest one to it, there was a Tom Cruise movie that he kept reliving.
Edge of
Tomorrow. Very similar style.
We're gonna talk about that next, actually.
But I think it'll be really interesting because next year, which it's crazy to think that 2020 is just around the corner.
Yeah, the decade is ending.
Yeah. But Starship Troopers, they'll be coming out with a brand new game. And if they stay true to it, where you just play as a grunt soldier, that you get dropped into this get this training that's relatively quick and then thrown onto the front lines, this has so much potential. It'll be awesome, and I'll be for sure playing it. So far, they've only said that it's coming out for the PC, but I imagine, with the next gen of consoles that are coming out, they'll be working on those as well.
Yeah, I would imagine it'd go to console. It'd be a waste to just put it on PC.
Yeah.
You know? Because we all know console gaming is better than PC anyway, so...
Yeah. Right, okay, because look, we've already got, like, what, PS1, or PlayStation 2, 3, 4. There's no PC 2.
No.
Yeah, it's just PC.
It's just PC.
Yeah. If it was so good, it would have a number 2 as well. And a 3.
I'm sure they'd say, well, you know, computers have much better, graphics or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what PC gaming arguments are because I don't play PC.
I play a little bit with like some Steam games, but not ones that you need like crazy fast graphics and other.
I don't know, the PC controls, they always just confuse me. Like I can't.
Well, you could always get an Xbox controller.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Could do that.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it was all over the place. Like, especially when I would play with, like, friends, would play StarCraft or Diablo and some of these other games where it's just like, okay, now up is W, and then you have to remember D and this.
Yeah.
It was all over the place. Oh, if you want to cast a spell, you have to reach clear over here. I mean, I just want to be able to press, like, the buttons really quickly.
Just press the button.
Yeah.
That's all I need. Like, I don't need to know, like, okay, so the keys over here are actually what you moved, or what you used to move, and then the arrow keys are like shift through inventory, and then P is to shoot. I'm like, why is P to shoot? I don't know.
Space bar.
Yeah. Then L is to jump. Like, okay, P, and then L, okay, and then
you can create these
like
hotkeys for like F2, 3.
Yeah. Like it's weird and confusing, and I don't like it.
And anything weird and confusing, will have nothing to do with.
I'm scared of it. I'm scared of something different. Speaking, it's funny that you bring up Tom Cruise's Edge of Tomorrow movie because it's a very strong possibility that by the year 2050 we could have cyborg soldiers just like were depicted in Edge of Tomorrow. At least that's what experts say. Biotechnology and human-machine interfaces are both poised for big takeoffs in the near future. This is evidenced by countless breakthroughs that have been in the news over the past few years, which have included everything from machine-powered exoskeletons to 3D-printed skin to implantable computer chips. But these technologies will obviously not only be used for benign purposes. In fact, according to a recently published study by the Department of Defense, they will be used to create super cyborg soldiers that will dominate the battlefield by 2050, if not earlier.
I'm all for this. Like, because then we wouldn't be sending out real people and they could be just sitting, using their computers to, basically send off these troops into war. And I wouldn't feel quite so bad if a robot died compared to a human,
Well, are they going to be actual robots or are they going to be people with, like...
cyborg...
enhancements? Like,
okay.
Like cyborg enhancements.
I still don't think I would feel as bad.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're not real humans. They're only half human.
Cyborgs aren't people.
Exactly.
And besides, it won't. I mean, we'll be old men at the time, so whatever.
Yeah.
It's not gonna do anything for us. We'll be 65.
Okay, but like the whole, I don't know. Is this really needed? Do you think we'll really still need ground troops to go in there and occasionally to do co-op mission or to do like these missions where they have to go in and seek somebody out, right, on a ground level?
Yeah.
But don't you think they'll also have other technology that they could just see who's all in the house and then take it out with a laser?
Yeah, but
will these cyborg people be obsolete and then it'll be more difficult for... because then they'll start doing crime.
I don't think they'll be obsolete per se. Because I think what's going to happen is the government's always going to want soldiers.
Yeah.
To go in and you know, perform missions or whatever it is. And weapons and technology is always advancing. And so by 2050, you know, they're gonna, I can see them, I'm sure we'll have, you know, a better technology when it comes to like drones and that sort of thing. There's probably a bunch of things that you'll be able to do with machines that you can't do right now. That you can only do with people, but I'm trying to think where I'm going with this.
There will always be certain.
There'll always be a need,
right, for
soldiers. I believe. And I don't, as far as like committing crimes and stuff, I think it'll be like, it'll just be something that like, maybe like an exo suit or something that you wear on the battlefield. Like it's government owned and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So then when you're off the battlefield, you're just a normal person again. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because if they were half human, half cyborg, you know, war changes a person.
Yes.
And we've seen this from, like, you know, other disgruntled people or people that come back with, like, PTSD and, like, all sorts of different problems and stuff. And now they'd be enhanced humans with these problems.
Right.
Right? I mean, I could see some like problems. So I'd much rather have it, like you were saying, just be like a suit that they kind of step into, almost like a mech-esque suit. Mm-hmm. Because then, like, you get the best of both worlds. You get the strength that comes from like cyborg technology and from robots and stuff, and then you also get the like quick judgment from humans. Mm-hmm. You know, who can actually like read a situation and determine if, you know, action is needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be a little bit more difficult, like if they were just sitting on a computer to kind of read the situation. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have all the different variables in front of you, like you would if you were on the ground.
Right.
But, you don't think there'll be world peace by then? That we, right?
Yeah. I'm sure by 2050, all the world's problems will be solved.
At least by 2022, because in Japan there will be a Studio Ghibli theme park, and that will take care of the majority of people's issues and problems.
Why is Japan so much better than us? That's my question.
Yeah,
Japan and China. I mean, as far as like they take their pop culture very seriously.
Right.
Like there is a life. I don't remember if it's in China or Japan, but there's a life-size Gundam wing in I want to say China. I feel bad that I'm getting the two mixed up. But it's a life-size Gundam. And it changes at night. It literally transforms to something else at night.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if you had that in America, that thing would be busted in about 6 months. Yeah. Because somebody would they'd climb up there.
Vandalize it.
Yeah. Take pot shots at it with guns, you know, because, Americans are dumb. He's like, why are they just so much better than us?
Which is so crazy because they've got so many more people.
Yeah.
Right? But yet maybe it's just because we only hear news and bad stories like here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure they probably have that because it's a numbers game, right?
Right.
But, or they just have harsher crimes.
Maybe it could be that their culture, their society's been around for so much longer than we have.
Yeah.
That maybe it's just kind of ingrained into their culture to be a bit more respectful and to be, you know,
Make things last.
yeah, make things last. To be more innovative and to actually create things that help society
Right. Yeah, you never...
for the better.
Which it's really weird because you only hear about this stuff when, like, and I worry about this too, like, even when we were talking about, like, the super soldiers, like, that technology getting in the wrong hands, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you hear some sort of innovation that takes place in, like, China, it's, like, only being used for good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow, they just cured cancer, you know? You don't hear, like, oh, they could also use that to inject, like, other serums into people and wipe out half the world.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's just good technology that they're creating.
Okay, yeah. It's in Tokyo.
Okay.
The life-size 19.7 meter Unicorn Gundam is in Tokyo.
That is awesome.
19.7 meters. How tall is that? Since we're stupid Americans and we don't have the metric system here.
Which still doesn't make any sense because I love Celsius. It makes way more sense.
Yeah. It does, actually. 64 feet.
Wow.
That's how tall that is.
Dang.
Yeah. And we couldn't create something like that here. I mean, just look at the statues we have.
Yeah.
They're crapped on by birds. They're vandalized, you know. They're spray painting dicks onto them, and it's just
I don't like people.
America sucks as a whole. I'm sure that'll be a popular opinion.
Right?
Hot take. America sucks. Okay. So, in this age of reboots and remakes and all this, we're getting another Honey, I Shrunk the Kids film.
A movie that nobody asked for.
Nope.
And nobody really wants.
Nope. Because, you know, it's all about the nostalgia and making things that were big back, or remaking things that were big back in the 80s and 90s and all that. But the original director, Joe Johnston, is in negotiations to helm the franchise and to bring it back.
So at least it'll be his idea, and he probably already got a direction that he would go with it.
Yeah. And apparently the reboot is going to star Josh Gad and this is actually more of a sequel than it is a reboot, because Josh Gad is going to play the son of Rick Moranis' character in the original film.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be the same kid that was blown up in a later sequel.
Right.
I'm not sure, but he is going to be his son, and he's going to try and reinvent his father's creation of the shrink ray or whatever it was called.
Now, how do you make this, like, interesting? Because
that is the question.
Right? Because I know that this will play, like, it'll be really popular with kids, but how do you draw in fans of the original one besides the name?
I would say bring back the original cast. Bring Rick Moranis back.
Well, we saw how well that worked with Ghostbusters, right?
Well, that whole Ghostbusters reboot was a mess. But yeah, they brought back the original cast, but they weren't like their characters. That was the problem. But if I don't know,
it's difficult to make something like that interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of these films as a kid. You know, I
thought they were kind of cool, but they were more like Disney Channel original movies, is what. Like on that level.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching Honey, We Blew Up the Kid, or Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, or whatever it was, in theaters. Like I remember going to the theater and seeing that.
Yeah,
and being kind of like, that was okay. You know, and I remember watching the other sequel. There's been 3 of these films.
Seriously, I can only think of the first one.
Yeah,
like
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Where they're running away from that ant, and then they use it, and they're being chased by a lawnmower.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
he almost eats them in the cereal.
Yeah,
the Cheerios. Then there was Honey, I Blew Up the Kid,
which they go to like Vegas for that, right?
I think that's usually what happened in the 90s, right? The sequel always went to Vegas.
Yeah.
Well,
because I remember like there's that cowboy that the kid was standing by.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think it was in Vegas.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. But then there was another sequel, which was Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, to where the parents were shrunk down.
Okay.
And I remember watching that on Disney Channel. I don't even know if it was in theaters. It might have been for a second, but I remember watching it on the Disney Channel.
This series kind of went the same route as Home Alone, right?
Yeah.
You've got the first one, like second one was pretty decent, but they're in New York, and then the third one, it didn't even star Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Could you see potentially that also being in the works?
Home Alone?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Right?
I wouldn't doubt it. But the thing with Home Alone is they would have to completely retool the whole thing because in the age of like, you know, smartphones and stuff like that, like there's not a lot of peril right now. Like Kevin McAllister would have been fine if he had a smartphone. You know, all I had to do was FaceTime his parents and he would have been fine.
Yeah.
You know?
But going back to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah. Well, I was just looking up Rick Moranis because I just wanted to see when these movies came out. So, okay, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids came out in 1989.
Okay.
Right? And then Honey, I Blew Up the Kid came out in 1992, which I'm surprised I remember seeing that in theaters. And then
I have a vague recollection of these movies. I tried to forget them.
I know. Oh, there was Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. I remember that was in
Universal Studios?
Yeah, or Disneyland. One of the two. But I remember doing that too. I remember going on that attraction. And it was like, you know, that 3D theater thing where you get accidentally hit with the ray and you get shrunk down and there's like all these interactions and stuff and like, you know, there's like puffs of wind. There's supposed to be something, or, you know.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. And then you had Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves in 1997.
Okay.
To round out this great trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But that was the last of the Honey, I Did Anything films.
Okay, but there has been a successful movie that has dealt with, like, shrinking and growing up and changing, like, shapes and sizes and stuff. And that was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Right.
So, it can be done well.
It can.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's had some time to kind of sit on this idea and to come up with something that could be created. Like an evil villain gets a hold of it, uses it for nefarious purposes. Yeah.
Even if they could even parody or kind of make fun of Ant-Man a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that has potential. And Joe Johnston could do it because he has done superhero films. He directed Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah.
And so he has a history of that. So he could, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they could, you know, pull from and make fun of in this film. Because obviously it's going to be a comedy.
Right.
So, you know, let's go, you know, just full out comedy with it. Why not?
That's probably the exact pitch that he gave to this studio.
Yeah.
You know?
Why not? Full out comedy.
Come on.
Why not?
Huh?
You know, and I actually think it was the first Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie that made it so I could never eat cereal with milk.
Really?
Because it
'Cause you're
looked...
worried-
No, it looked disgusting when it was... when they showed it all close up and everything. Like, it just looked gross to me. Like, that whole scene was gross.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that's where that started for me. That's why I can't
That's where
do
my
that.
love for Cheerios came from.
Yeah, and I think that's why I can't eat Cheerios. It just looks... It's just gross. The whole scene was gross. Everything about it was gross.
Although I had I can only drink 1% milk, if that. I can't have my parents now get like whole milk, and then that's like yogurt, dude.
Yeah, I know.
That's gross.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. I can only do 1%.
If that, I'll even seriously like sometimes get 0% just because it's like kind of. And I know people make fun of it and call it like white water.
Yeah,
but
skim milk. Or,
yeah. I can't eat yogurt like that. So Train to Busan is confirmed for another movie that they'll be doing. The original, and it's set for 2020. They had a prequel that they did after the fact, that it was an animated movie, and it's called Seoul Station, named after Seoul. But this one, it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. You haven't seen it, have you?
Not yet.
Okay. In a nutshell, a father-daughter who she's kind of like, they're not the closest. They get stuck on a train and they're separated by quite a few carts, and he has to go like rescue her. Yeah. And if you're a fan of zombie movies at all, this is probably one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen. It's fantastic. The acting in it, and like just it perfectly shows how people would react in a zombie apocalypse. You've got certain people that are in it just for themselves and are really selfish and don't want to like help out anybody and just save themselves, self-preservation. And then you've got other people that are like half-heartedly willing to help people, and like it really kind of like separates you and gets you thinking how you would react in a zombie apocalypse. Would you be like more selfish or selfless?
I know I'd be selfish.
Right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too, and I'm like, there's a select group of people that I'd probably like, want to help out. Do you have a zombie plan, Troy?
Not really. I have more of like a post-apocalyptic plan.
Okay.
But no, zombies. No, I don't really have a plan.
Okay, here's the plan then, Troy.
Okay.
Well, grab your camping gear and just head up in the mountains up here.
That's kind of my post-apocalyptic plan.
Is it as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, okay.
Okay, so pretty similar idea. That's my plan. Is I'm just like, I'll just go out pretty far out into nature and hunt and fish and live off the land and be good. Maybe head to Alaska because zombies would freeze.
It's true,
right?
And here's the other thing with zombies. I just thought about. I was just thinking about this the other day. Zombies, they don't. I mean, obviously they don't make sense, but the zombies that come out of the grave definitely don't make sense. Like The Walking Dead, alright, that makes sense because as soon as you die, you come back.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But the ones that are already dead and then come out of the grave, that doesn't make any sense because...
They're already decayed? Or?
No, but when you die, they take all your innards out.
That's true.
There's nothing there. You're basically just an empty shell.
Right.
And so it would make no sense that zombie would come back to life because there's nothing in there to bring you back to life. You don't have a brain, you don't have a nervous system, you don't have blood, there's a heart, there's nothing there.
Right.
So it just made, I was just thinking about that the other day. Like, that makes no sense.
Huh. But yeah, I think they'd also be a lot slower in the snow.
They would.
Right? and you could see, like, I couldn't imagine a zombie horde in the snow moving very fast. Right?
Yeah.
You just pick them off and like, there's not much food up there, and you actually have to like be quick to get it. I mean, there's food readily available, but I don't know, it's a little bit more difficult to get, and I think the zombies would like starve before they would really find stuff.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'd end up being like the crazy guy in the mountains.
Just grow out a huge beard and just like, yeah, live off the land. Totally. Okay, so would you save many, like your family at all, or just kind of like
I'd be gone.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I'm out. Bye.
I was thinking about that too. I'm like, well, maybe I'd take a couple of people along with me, but that's just for company. Because then I could imagine myself just like start talking to myself a lot, and like,
yeah,
it would get weird. Like I'd start like, you know, pulling like a Castaway kind of situation where I'd start like, you know, making people.
No, I pulled the wrong message away from Castaway because I was looking at that thinking, that looks great.
No,
being
people
on an island by yourself, talking to a volleyball, wear nothing but a loincloth, like.
That's the life for me.
That's the life right there.
Everybody's just like, oh, I feel so bad for him. You know, he has to like be out there by himself. And it's like, that actually kind of sounds kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, once he got used to where he was, and you know, he was able to fish and all that, I'm like, why go back to civilization?
Yeah.
Honestly, like you're good.
He's got a pretty good setup. Why do you need to risk it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I ever disappear and people presume that I'm dead.
I did.
People presume that I did.
His language is already speaking abilities are already, you know.
It's probably a good bet that I'm actually not. That I'm actually just on a deserted island somewhere.
What would you take with you? Top 3 items.
Top 3 items. I would take a knife.
Not like a hatchet or anything?
Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, you'd probably hatchet, because you could use the hatchet as a knife, but you could also use it to chop things. So that'd be handy. So I'd take that. I'd take
flint and steel.
Yeah, you gotta have something for a fire.
And that's pretty easy. It's not gonna like, you know, it's not like matches where they're pretty. They work sometimes, and if the box gets like messed up, you're done for.
And man, what else would I take?
I would say a gun, but then I would imagine that would attract a lot of like zombies to your location.
Yeah.
I'd almost say like a fishing pole.
Yeah, that's true. I'd have to learn to like fish. That would be the worst thing for me being on a deserted island. Is having to learn to eat seafood, because I hate seafood.
Yeah.
Like I have to be like, I gotta cook this crab. Ugh, I hate crab. All right, fine.
Okay, because he didn't have much in the way of other animals to go hunt, right?
No, it was pretty much just fish.
Yeah. You'd lean up. And, like being like great shape.
You'd get really skinny. That's for sure. It's another reason. See, it's just positives being on a deserted island. It's nothing but positives. You don't have to worry about any responsibilities. If everybody presumes you're dead, you know, your debt is gone. Everything's gone.
Yeah.
You got a clean slate. Like every time I get into a plane, I kind of wish that
it was just gonna
maybe it would crash.
Wow. You're like, I mean, maybe next time I might kind of like, you know, pull a couple of plugs, a few wires, see what happens. Roll the dice.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and check out. I believe it is on Netflix. Check out Train to
Busan.
Busan.
Yeah.
The other thing that you have to look forward to, and this is also on Netflix as well, is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I did get a chance to read at least the first graphic novel that they came out with.
Yeah.
Of this, and I've also seen all caught up with the television show, and it's pretty decent. It's definitely darker, and I've heard a lot of the Wiccan culture and society, religion, they're not the biggest of fans with it because they've kind of been portrayed in a bad light. But it's kind of interesting because, spoilers, she's kind of went full dark slash shoot in the last season there was these missionary type of people that came to their school. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to kill people if they didn't confess, and if they didn't say that they believed in God, then they were killing them.
Wow.
Yeah. So she kind of puts an end to that pretty quickly, but she unleashes all of her powers, and you kind of see just how badass Sabrina can be.
Yeah. Because
she's half mortal and she's half devil, basically. Well, she's supposed to be basically Lucifer's bride. Is what she's eventually going to be.
Lucifer's right-hand woman.
Yeah. So it's getting pretty dang dark. She's kind of still torn between this world and the other.
It's amazing that this show popped out of an early 90s sitcom starring Melissa Joan Hart.
That's true.
Where she talked to an animatronic black cat. Yeah.
And now we got something a little bit darker.
And now we got this.
Yeah.
Now it's got witches with devils and killing non-Christians. And it's the worst thing that Sabrina from the TV show...
She might have cheated on a homework assignment, right?
Yeah. She accidentally caused her boyfriend to have purple hair or something. That's the worst thing that ever really happened.
This,
she didn't have to worry about being married to the devil.
Yeah, it really took a dark turn with this. But it's kind of set in that whole universe as Archie. What's the other? Riverdale?
Riverdale. Yeah.
So you'll probably eventually see some crossover. But the show, I watched Riverdale and kind of got into it for a little bit. But the thing that bugs the crap out of me with that show is that the kids are so disrespectful to the parents. These kids are accusing adults of, you slept with this person and you murdered this person. And they're just talking back, and I'm like, this would not fly in a normal system. I mean, it's soap opera-esque, right? It's way exaggerated, but I'm just like, this would not fly. If my kids started talking back like that, no, that's not going to be cool.
Yeah, and that came from a dumb little comic book.
Right?
Yeah.
Where the worst thing to happen in that, somebody ate somebody else's hamburger.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah. But for those listening, you should know that the real Riverdale is a lot less interesting.
We do have one just down the road.
We do.
Yeah.
It's not, it's barely a town. So.
Yeah. The coolest thing about it is the Walmart or the B-Dubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The In-N-Out. The In-N-Out's in Riverdale.
Oh, that's true.
Toys R Us used to be in Riverdale, but that got closed down. And now just keep it open because it becomes a spirit store around Halloween time.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. You had a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I started working at this furniture warehouse store, primarily just for insurance.
Yeah, go ahead and take a guess what store that is. I'm sure you can.
And some of my coworkers are really pretty. They're pretty cool and really nice. And they sent me a friend request on Facebook, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. You know, like added a couple of them. There was one dude in particular that attempted, like, I'm glad because like none of these guys like listen to the show. I mean, I've talked about the podcast quite a bit, but I'm hoping that none of them listen.
Yeah.
But anyways, one of the dudes sent me a friend request, but he's a complete ass to everybody. Like, he wears his "Make America Great Again" hat to work. And like, I'm just like, I can't imagine what his Facebook post would be like, right?
Yeah.
So like that, and also like he's really rude. He'll like always go to your mom jokes, which I'm like, dude, we're adults. Like, why are you still stupid? And he's just like, oh yeah, I banged your mom last night. I'm like,
it's also not 1994.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Does he also still do "That's What She Said" jokes?
Yes. Yeah. And he will, like, as we're unloading stuff off of a truck, he'll just, like, rip it. Like, and just, and he's just like, oh, that was a raunchy one. Ooh, I had a good breakfast. I'm like, where the hell do we find these people? But anyways, I said that I would rather have sex with a porcupine. Like, I mean, I said it a little bit more crude, like, in front of him, and because like, he's just like, oh hey, he called me out in front of all the other guys, and he's just like, hey dude, like, you didn't accept my friend request. I'm like, I would rather have sex with a porcupine, like, dude, like, there's no way I'm mad at you. And like, I mean, we're cool now, and everything's like kind of like, you know, smoothed over a little bit, where he'll still help out, but. I recently, actually just about like 2 hours ago, got a friend request from my boss. And I've never added, like, I don't know. I know, like, he's one of the cooler bosses that I've worked for, but I've never, like, I've had other bosses try to friend request me on Facebook before, and I'm just like, nope. And we didn't even bring it up, and like, just, you know, just kind of let it die. Yeah. Because to me, there's my private life. And you already know, like, as we've talked about before, that I'm more of a private person. Yes. But I like to, like, just keep my private life to myself and not have to worry that when I get on social media that I have to, like, almost, like, censor myself. Yeah. And then there's my professional work life. Yeah. Right? And I like to keep those separate. And on the off chance, you know, just thinking about this, on the off chance that I called in to work sick or something and I post something on Facebook, you know, after the fact, that there could be some backlash. Yes. Right? Yes. So I kind of wanted to, like, know if you've had any experiences like this, or what you would do in a similar situation, or...
Oh yeah. I've had a lot of experiences.
Has it ever come back to, like, kind of bite you?
No, because I have a general rule that I never add coworkers on social media. Right. There have been exceptions. There were a couple people that I worked with at the Megaplex that I added on social media. Right. That's only because I actually became friends with them, so I didn't feel that weird about it. It felt
more normal. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
And I knew that it wouldn't be, you know, it's not going to be a problem with them, but no, like when I started the job I have now, at a popular grocery store chain. Yeah. Probably guess what that is. Yeah. They told me in the interview, they said not to really post anything or talk at all about your job. Right. Because there have been people that have done that and they got fired. Yeah. Talking about how they had a bad day at work or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And that got
spit in the food.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that got them into trouble. And so now, because of that, if any of the coworkers I have now ever wanted to add me on Facebook, no. Yeah. There's no way. Yeah. Because, like you said, it's just going to lead to too many problems. I mean, you don't want to have to censor yourself, and I did that for years on social media. Like when it came to, like, friending, like, family members and stuff. Right. I always thought that I had to censor myself. Yeah. In recently, I don't care so much. Right.
Well, that, and didn't you also kind of, like, do a purge?
I did.
Of those people? Yeah.
I did. There are a few that I still have. But my feeling with that is, it's like, look, I'm going to post what I'm going to post. And if you don't like it, too bad.
Yeah.
Then, you can unfriend me.
Right.
That's fine. But yeah, like I'm like you. I keep my personal life and my work life completely separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could potentially cause too many issues, and like you said, having to censor yourself, we've had to do that in the past, and I don't know, it's no way to live.
It's not.
No.
It's not. You don't want to start posting something on Facebook and then think, oh, should I post this?
Right? Or do you have to like block those from people from seeing your post before you post something? Yeah.
Yeah. But when it comes to like family members and stuff, I think, look, I'm a 34-year-old man.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a grown ass adult.
Yeah.
You don't like what I say, you don't like what I post. Oh well. Too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah. And like I work with a lot of younger people.
Yeah.
Who are always talking about each other's stuff on Facebook and what they post, and they're obviously friends on social media, and I just think it's a mistake.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it. And they talk about how they go and hang out after work and stuff, and like again, that can be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, when I go to work, I'm not there to make friends.
You'll be polite and cordial to these people, right?
Yeah. But no, I'm not there to. It's like that's not social time for me. I'm there to do a job, get it done quickly, get paid, and go home.
Yeah,
that's why I'm there.
Yeah. Well, because like I almost feel like that's just, and I feel the same way because you and we both got like other projects and other things that we're working on outside of work that we'd much rather be doing.
Yes.
And if we could get paid to do those things, then like to hell with the job, I would leave tomorrow. You know? Yeah. Just saying.
The job is just a means to an end.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Which kind of sucks because we'd love to find like, you'd love to find that thing that you're like really passionate about and get paid for.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually.
Like I would love for like my YouTube channel to take off.
Yeah.
And so much so that I could quit my job and just focus on that full time.
Because then that'd be like a revenue source and then you could do other fun projects.
That would be great. But right now, as it stands, I can't really do that.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Just don't forget all the little people, like
even though I am making money from YouTube.
Yeah.
More than I thought I would be.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to sustain me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might sustain me for like a month, but then I'm screwed. Now what am I going to do?
I've been watching this new show, on, not to like change the subject, but just thinking about this.
No.
I've been watching this new show because I didn't get a chance to see any movies this week, but it's called Stumptown, and it's based off of the graphic novel written by Greg Rucka, and the artwork is Matthew Southerwood, and it's a really interesting show. What basically the premise is this former military woman, Dex, played by Kobe Smulders, thank you.
Yeah.
Who was on How I Met Your Mother. She played Robin. She's this former military soldier who has some PTSD issues, and now she's kind of come back into society, and she's decided to be a private investigator.
Yeah.
It is pretty family friendly, but it's actually like some of the cases are pretty interesting because she's got a lot of money in debt. She's kind of a flawed individual, and she's just barely finding this job and working out the kinks. She's kind of working with the police a little bit, and they're working with her, but for the most part, she's kind of a vigilante-esque character.
Oh, and has Michael Ealy in it.
Yes, and Jack Johnson as well, or Jake Johnson, excuse me, from New Girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Michael Ealy, he's kind of he kills TV shows.
Yeah.
Like, usually the shows he's on do not last that long.
What other shows has he been in?
So he's done Secrets and Lies. Okay. So Being Mary Jane, TV series that lasted from 2017 2019. Secrets and Lies, a TV series that lasted 10 episodes. Barbarians Rising, TV series documentary. Well, that's just documentary. That's, The Following, a TV series that lasted 1 season.
Yeah.
Almost Human, a TV series that lasted 13 episodes. Like, the guy is cancer when it comes to TV shows.
And he happens to be her love interest.
So if you like this show, watch it as much as you can, because if he's in it, it ain't gonna last that long.
Oh.
He's...
Dang. We'll have to, watch and see if they actually do get a second season.
Yeah.
Right?
It'll be interesting to see.
And it's bad because, I could see this season, I could see the show picking up. The only problem is with the direction that they're going right now, it doesn't seem like it's sustainable.
Yeah.
So unless something else happens or occurs, something big. Yeah, oh man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for some reason, he's just bad luck when it comes to TV series.
Yeah, I'd be tentative to which is bad because I've heard of other celebrities having the same kind of curse associated with them, which makes it word gets around and the people in Hollywood aren't going to cast them for that very reason. Just whether it's and it's not, he's a decent actor.
He is.
He's been in a ton of other movies, but for whatever reason.
Yeah, like that show, Almost Human.
Yeah.
That he was in with Carl Urban. That was a great show. It was really good. It was a sci-fi show. It took place in the future. It had, good special effects. He played a guy that was a detective that was, going back to what we were talking about, half cyborg.
Okay.
And so he had certain abilities that he could do, and it was really cool. But it only lasted 1 season.
Huh. Dang.
For whatever reason, on Fox. And Fox will take anything.
Oh, yeah.
They're
not picky.
And Fox will keep stuff on the air long after its expiration date. But, I don't know. All right.
So we don't reach the expiration on this episode.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up.
So, you can listen to all of our episodes at worldwarg.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, and cosmicpotato.com. On social media, you can find us at facebook.com/worldwargpodcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Just search at WWG Podcast. You can find all of our merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/worldwarg. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. You can also call the show anytime. I always wait to see if you say day or night there too.
I always hear it and then I'm tentative. And I'm well.
At 385-240-1692. So, this has been World War G episode 246. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends. And welcome to the post-credits scene. So, we're recording this on December 8th. And
2019.
Yeah. Just for the record. The big CW crossover, Crisis on Infinite Earths, starts tonight.
In about 28 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, if we wrap up quickly, I might go up and watch it. Maybe I'll order myself some food and
boom.
Yeah. So, I have been watching both Arrow and The Flash.
Yes.
This season. And Arrow's actually pretty decent for its final season. It's not bad. But I have not been watching Legends of Tomorrow or Supergirl. I tried watching Batwoman and that didn't work.
Yeah. You gave it a chance.
I did.
You gave it a couple episodes.
I gave it 5 episodes.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So,
but at least you'll have like an idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not like they've done that many more episodes.
But here's the thing with this crossover that they do, because they do one every year. But here's the thing with this one, is because it's Crisis on Infinite Earths, what they're doing is they are pulling from not just CW,
but the whole DC universe.
Yeah. I mean, they're pulling from Smallville, like Tom Welling's going to be on it.
Yeah.
They're pulling from the 90s Flash series.
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah. Who's
Which,
going to be Kingdom Come Bruce Wayne, which is amazing. They have like three Supermen in this.
This to me is gonna like have so many. I imagine it's gonna have so many Easter eggs.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yep, absolutely.
And if you've been watching these different shows throughout the years, you're gonna appreciate it that much more.
Yeah.
Is it something that you would necessarily need to have watched all of these other shows to get? You can't just come in on this, right?
I wouldn't think so, because they have been kind of planting the seeds throughout the other shows.
Right.
Like, if you watch this and you see the character of the Monitor, you're like, who is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not even going to know who the heck he is if you haven't been watching The Flash or Arrow or anything. Also, it'd be a good thing to watch these shows so you know who the heck all the rest of these characters are.
Yeah.
Right? You probably could watch it and be fine, obviously, but I think you might be a little
in the dark.
Yeah, a little confused, and you don't really know like the relationships between the characters, and so that might be a little confusing, but I've been looking forward to this for months now.
So now is this just going to be a couple episodes or one episode? Or?
It's going to span over 5 episodes.
Okay.
So it's going to be tonight, tomorrow, Monday, and then Tuesday. And then the last 2 episodes I think are going to be Thursday and Friday.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting, because typically you do 1 episode a week, right?
Yeah, and well, what's happening is, like I don't know when like Arrow and the Flash are on during the week because I just watch them online.
Yeah.
So like I think Supergirl comes on Sundays tonight, so that's going to be part 1. And then whenever Arrow comes on during the week, that'll be part 2. And then whenever Flash comes on during the week, that'll be part 3.
Gotcha. So it's taking the place of these. Okay.
Yeah.
So they won't have their own individual episodes then, right?
No, it's going to be this whole larger story.
Okay.
And that's kind of been... It's kind of what they do with all these big crossover events. Like, it takes place throughout every show.
So if it was a crossover just between The Flash and Arrow, you'd have 2 episodes of this. They'd have a 2-part series.
Yeah.
And they'd show, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is kind of like the biggest one they've done.
Yeah.
That
especially if it's
place.
spanning over 5 episodes.
just takes place through all of the TV shows.
Do we already know who the big bad is supposed to be?
I think it's the Anti-Monitor. If I'm not mistaken, because I think he was the big bad in the comic that this is based off of.
Right.
And a little history about Crisis. Basically, the reason they did it is because DC had so many different characters and timelines and all these different things. It was hard to keep track of.
Right.
From, when they started from 1938 all the way up till 80, whatever it was, when they did the comic book, that they kind of had to, they realized that they had to purge everything. So they did Crisis on Infinite Earths to pretty much wipe all that stuff out.
And then just start
again.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was kind of the story behind it.
And is that what they're doing with these television shows? I mean, I know you're seeing like Arrow coming to an end.
Yeah, Arrow's coming to an end.
Is that going to be the case with the majority of these other ones? They're just kind of these episodes and purge them?
I think the reason that they're doing this, this has kind of been foretold for several seasons now. Because the big thing in Crisis was the Flash dies.
Yeah.
And so his death has kind of been looming over the show for a while. Because he knew that in the future sometime he would disappear.
Yeah.
He didn't know how that was going to happen, but he knew it was going to happen.
So does that mean that he can't go too far into the future? He can't go past his point of death into the future?
He can, but it's going to screw things up. Like, again, you'd have to watch like the 6 seasons of Flash to kind of,
Yeah.
understand all this time travel nonsense. But I think the main purpose of this show is to kind of, because Arrow is ending, and I think Flash will probably last another season, maybe 2. Legends, I think it's on its last legs.
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of a way to pass the torch to these other characters. To like Supergirl, Batwoman, Black Lightning, which I always forget is a TV show.
Yeah.
Like I watched like half of the first season and I dropped off. But it's kind of a way, I think, to kind of pass the torch to these other characters.
Right. This is their phase 2.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah. So this is kind of like their end game. And so now they're kind of moving forward with all these other characters instead of these guys.
Which is weird because like it's a lot easier to continue on with television shows than it is with a movie because it takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The other thing that I think that the reason that they also did something like this with the multiverse is just to have have it all make sense, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't become too jaded and too confusing that people didn't know what to do or where they should actually start. Mm-hmm. But it'll be interesting. Is it the Flash that kind of like opened this up for them to go to these other universes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he was kind of the catalyst for all these things to tie all these other shows together.
Okay.
Yeah. He was kind of one that did all that. But I think it's cool that they're pulling in from all these other different DC properties and like older TV shows.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of cool because it's a cool way to kind of tie all this stuff together. Like they're all in one big universe.
That, and it seems like none of these people are too, they really hated what they do. They all loved their projects that they worked on, right? Or they wouldn't be coming back for this.
Yeah.
If they left with some resentment, then they're not, unless they're hard up for cash, mm-hmm. they're not coming back, right?
Yeah.
So it's good to see that they're all kind of playing nice.
Mm-hmm. And it's also cool to see that they're that DC hasn't forgotten about those, that they're still kind of paying respect, to like the Smallville and Kevin Conroy, and because he was, he's been the voice of Batman for the past nearly 30 years, you know. And so it's cool that they're showing respect to him, and it's just, yeah.
They're not holding
Cool
back
concept.
when it comes to this.
No.
And it's also nice to see that DC is capable of doing some sort of like big project that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like they can do this on TV. Why can't they do it in theaters?
Yeah.
You know? It's like, get the guys that are doing this stuff on television and bring them into the movies.
Yeah.
You know, have them write the script for the movies.
Exactly. It is possible to do something cool like this.
Yeah, it is. You can do it. DC has good characters that, you know, lend themselves well to these stories, but
The writing.
the movies are just like, Batman and Superman. Let's do that again. Speaking of which, did you watch the new Wonder Woman trailer that just came out?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
She's got a lot of potential.
Yes, it does.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm pretty stoked to see
Wonder Woman 84. And I thought that I wouldn't like the fact that Kristen Wiig is in it.
Yeah.
But it looks like she'll be okay. She's not too Kristen Wiiggy.
Mm-hmm.
You know? She's not playing that same character she played in, like, Bridesmaids and
Everything else that she's ever
Ghostbusters
been in.
and everything else she's in. Because she can be a good actress.
Yeah.
Like, you go see, there's a movie called Skeleton Twins that she did with Bill Hader. Really good. Really good film. But yeah, but I like it too. I think it looks really cool. I still don't know how they brought Steve back. Steve Trevor.
Yeah.
They didn't really explain that. But I think it's cool that she's lassoing lightning at the end.
Right?
Like she's riding the lightning. Like, okay. Whatever.
Do you ever see that movie back in the day, Tall Tales?
Yeah.
Right? Where he's like lassoed
the hurricane or the tornado?
Tornado.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that in theaters, and it was a double feature with
Five-O Goes West?
No, it was like White Fang or Call of the Wild or one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like the first double feature I ever saw as a kid.
Yeah.
And it kind of blew my mind. It's like 2 movies?
What?
This is amazing.
I need more popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing we want to talk about is next week.
Yes.
Our next episode, it's all Star Wars. We're not going to have any stories. No This Week in Geek, nothing like that. From beginning to end, it's going to be Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And this is kind of obviously just a hype up that, you know, episode 9 is coming out on the 20th. Which, by the way, when I was working last night, I came up with a really cool way that they could end episode 9.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So remind me, I'll share that next week.
Okay.
But yeah, basically what we're going to do is we're pretty much going to run down the entire history of Star Wars. From 1977 when it started all the way up to, 2019 when it all comes to an end.
Yeah.
And so it should be good. Look forward to that. I mean,
Yes.
we're breaking down. We're going to break down all the movies and talk about interesting facts about each of them. And yeah.
It'll be a Star Wars palooza.
Yeah.
A plethora of Star Wars.
And the beginning and end songs obviously are going to be Star Wars and
some John Williams thrown in there. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Yep. So it's going to be all Star Wars all the time in that episode. So look forward to that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we'd go on such a deep dive from like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That was interesting. That's just what you get here on World War G. You just never know. Never know the roads will go down. All right. I guess that about wraps it up.
Alrighty.
Well, see you next week.